hello.
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 Hi.
Hello. How's everybody doing this morning? It is Thursday, June the 21st, 2023, and that can only mean one thing.
Time for Tech Talk Live.
Nope.
Oh, wait, we're Tech Connect now, aren't we?
Time for Tech Connect Live. We potentially are having...
I think we're okay.
Good.
Jonathan, if you could confirm on the tube side.
I just heard us over there, so we must be okay. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Good. So, welcome.
Hello. Apologies to those on YouTube who did not hear our lovely intro music. Hopefully we'll get that rectified for the next session. And you know, something always has to go wrong, but luckily this was a fairly minor thing.
Yes.
So, so that is good. And thank you to everybody who completed our survey as well.
You beat me to it.
Oh yeah. We did send out a survey with requests for ideas about where to take the show's direction, and we are probably going to make some small changes just to improve the show for those who enjoy it and hopefully bring on some.
Do you know what the most requested change was?
Go ahead, let me know.
No more jokes.
Yes, it was, sadly, yeah. People don't seem to like our jokes section.
Actually, it wasn't the jokes.
Not so much the jokes, but more just all of the chatting up front. So we are going to try and get into the show a little bit more quickly. And apologies to those who did enjoy those.
Well, and I get it. It is, you know, when we started this, it was during COVID 3 years ago. People were at home. They had a little more spare time.
Yeah.
Now people are connecting in the midst of work or whatever they might be doing, and so they want to just get right to the information. Totally understand that.
Yes.
So we are going to speed up our beginning as we keep talking about speeding up.
Yeah. So I think we have some further conversation to have as well regarding show length and topics.
Yeah.
And,
if you didn't fill out the survey, please do so. It should have dropped in your mailbox, your email. We'll probably maybe send it out one more time just to make sure. It really is helpful, though, to fill out that survey. We can actually drop it in the comments of this video, too, once it gets archived on YouTube. We'll post and pin that to this session so that those on YouTube can also have a chance to do that. And it really is helpful, so we appreciate it.
And if you really want to confuse us, fill out the survey twice with completely opposite points of view each time. And then, that'll really confuse us.
It will skew the results just a little bit.
I assume people can fill it out more than once if they're feeling nefarious.
They can do it as many times as they'd like to.
Probably shouldn't have told them that.
Nah.
All right, so anyway, today we are talking about JAWS and some of the cool features, yes, in JAWS. So JAWS is a screen reader for those who are not aware, which is probably no one. I imagine everybody on this show is aware of JAWS. And it does have some really nice features that I don't think are necessarily all that explored.
Yeah, I think a lot of the features that we're going to look at today are these features that have been introduced over maybe the past 4 or 5 years. They're not really like mainstay features. Everyone sort of... JAWS, I think, is a lot like other programs where there's so much it does, but you really just utilize what you know or what you've been taught. And some of these other features like Smart Glances, Flexible Web, and the Voice Assistant are things that have been introduced more recently, and you just may not have really got an understanding of either how they work or what they do, and so that's what we wanted to highlight today.
I think as a trainer, it's easy to get stuck in a rut with, just teaching what you know, and not taking advantage of the newer features, but then that's doing a disservice to your clients. And as a user, I mean, it's the same type of thing, there might be features which you haven't explored just because you are used to using whatever you know. So hopefully this will be some new information for people and make them even more powerful screen reader users, just like Cory here.
I am
Cory, the power man.
I am Mr. Screen Reader. That's what my friends call me. They say, "Hey, Mr. Screen Reader."
Please tell me that's true.
They do, and I say, "Howdy."
Do you say, "Hey, Mr. Eyeballs"?
Hey, Mr. Sighty.
Yeah, exactly, Mr. Sighty. Yeah. So yeah, what have we got in store, Cory, today?
Yeah, so we're going to jump in now. On the title of this session, we included a few different cool features.
Yeah.
We included Flexible Web, touchscreen support, Smart Glances, and Sharky
or
the Voice Assistant.
Yes.
Now, at the top of maybe I shouldn't say this, but right at the top, I'm going to say we're not really going to touch on touchscreen.
Very nice.
We're not really going to cover touchscreen support in this session. Number one, I realize that I don't have a touchscreen laptop, super handy, so it's going to be kind of, I don't want to just sit and talk about the different gestures. So we will do an upcoming session on touchscreen. Plus, actually, I think touchscreen itself could almost take an hour just because there's a lot of different gestures and stuff. So today we're going to look at 3 specific features that might be overlooked. That's flexible web, smart glances, and Sharky, or the voice assistant. So that's what we're going to jump into today.
Now, I will say, even though we are cutting down the intros, we are still going to have a joke. But today, today Sharky is going to tell it for us. Well, then we might as well jump right in. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, listening to you right away. So why don't we go ahead and jump right into that piece? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's Did that do it?
PC.
No, which one is that one?
I think it's the next one. Let me. I think you got the right one, actually.
PC.
Is that one muted now?
Yeah. So everyone, if you go ahead and use JAWS here, just if people could let us know in the chats whether they can hear JAWS okay, that would be appreciated.
I'll go to the, I'll just type something. Oops, hello.
LLO. Document 1 word.
There we go. Hello, everyone.
Everyone. Exclaim.
So let us know in the chat if you are able to hear that okay. We are miking our computer, and I think it should be okay.
Yeah, just let us know. So let's jump in here and just let me know if there's an issue. Okay. So they have released, I believe it was in JAWS 2021, they released a voice assistant for both JAWS and for Zoom Text or Fusion. In JAWS, it's called Sharky is the kind of key phrase, and in Zoom, it's Zoomy. Now, first and foremost, I actually sort of like both of them, but I will say I got an issue with the Sharky and Zoomy.
The names?
Yeah, I get why they chose it, but I just got a real issue with
I like Sharky because it reminds me of the cartoon Sharky and George.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if you...
I don't think that was an American thing.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Okay. Yeah, so Sharky and George, they were crime fighters.
Ooh.
And they were in the sea because Sharky was a shark.
Sure.
And George, what was George? Just a fish of some sort?
Okay.
I don't remember. Anyway, they swam through the ocean solving crime.
Yeah, there's a hotbed of crime in the ocean. So released in 2021, and basically it's Freedom Scientific's version of the voice assistant. What I want to do real quickly is just show you where you can go to turn it on and where some of the settings are. So I'm going to go into my JAWS menu here.
JAWS context menu.
And we'll go to Utilities.
Utilities submenu.
And actually, let's slow that down.
Leaving menu slower.
There we go.
JAWS context Utilities submenu.
And we'll go into Utilities.
JAWS tab. Voice Assistant submenu.
And the second option is Voice Assistant. Let's go on in here.
Talk to JAWS, insert plus alt plus space.
Now here's one method for you to engage the voice assistant is by going in here and actually choosing this option, which I find to be a little bit cumbersome.
Using a keyboard shortcut.
Yeah, or just coming right into this menu.
Into the menu.
Too.
That would be very cumbersome. Yeah.
So we're going to go down, though, to Settings.
Settings, ...
And let's just take a peek real quick.
Enter. Leaving menus. Voice Assistant settings dialog. Enable Voice Assistant checkbox check.
First, we want to make sure that this Enable Voice Assistant checkbox is checked. Otherwise, we'll be just talking to our computer and nothing will be happening.
Listen for wake word. Hey Sharky radio button checked. 2 of 2.
So we have 2 options here. We have listen for the wake word, or we can choose the other option.
Listen for wake word. Sharky radio button checked.
So basically you can choose from hey followed by the wake word or just the wake word itself.
What was that wake word again, Cory?
I'm not going to tell you. Nice try. So I'm going to choose the one with hey.
Do not listen for wake word checkbox not checked.
If you still want to use the voice assistant either through keyboard shortcuts or another method, but don't want it listening for the wake word, you can uncheck this box or check this box here.
Enable voice assistant sounds checkbox checked.
You're going to hear when we give it a command that there is a start listening and end listening sound. If you uncheck, you can get rid of those here by doing this checkbox if you choose.
Microphone input device combo box. Windows default.
If you've got a different microphone that you want to use, either set it to the default, or if you have a headset that you're always wearing, whatever it might be, you can make sure and choose which microphone you want.
Take me to the privacy policy link.
If you want to go and take a look, obviously, at their privacy policy, you can do that.
Okay, button.
All right, let's do okay. We've got it turned on. We're ready to go. So let's just do a couple little quick examples. So we know that the listen word is hey followed by its trigger word, so we'll do it in a moment. And we'll just start real quickly with the time.
Hold on, we still need a joke as well, don't we?
Oh yeah. Okay, let's start. We'll start with that. That works.
Good idea.
All right, we're gonna have our good friend Jaws here tell us a joke since we skipped over the joke. Hey Sharky, tell me a joke.
What do you call a shark who wants to be by himself? A lone shark.
A lone
Oh,
shark.
yeah.
That's pretty
Took me a
good.
while there.
That's pretty good. I've asked it about 5 jokes. They all seem to be shark related.
Yeah.
At some point, that's got to end, but you can get jokes from it. No good voice. A voice assistant is not a good voice assistant if it doesn't tell jokes.
I think the quality of Sharky's jokes seem to be better than most.
All right, let's give it one more. I just want to see.
Yeah.
Hey Sharky. Hey Sharky. Okay, let's try again. Hey Sharky, tell me a joke.
I love the F5 key. It's just so refreshing.
Oh my God! So that was a computer joke, not shark specific.
That was actually pretty good.
So if you're very geeky like Cory and I, then you might enjoy these jokes.
All right, let's do a couple other real quick ones. Hey Sharky, what time is it?
11:13 a.m.
So like most voice assistants, we can ask it the time, we can ask it the date. That's all good. But we're really more interested in sort of more specific JAWS uses, right? Yeah. And really the point of this voice assistant is for those who may struggle with remembering keyboard commands. It's not like Windows voice access, voice control, where we can do pretty much everything. There's a lot, but it's still pretty limited on what we have to do. So there is a lot of keyboard commands you still have to remember. But for some of those things that you maybe don't do very often, like increasing and decreasing your speech rate, we can do it via Sharky. Hey Sharky, speak faster.
I didn't get that. Could you try again? Faster.
Siri's trying to talk on my watch at the same time. Hey Sharky. Hey Sharky, speech rate 60.
60%.
Ooh.
Hey Sharky, speech rate 30.
30%.
So we can do either speak faster, speak slower, or we can give it a specific 30, 50, 60.
I assume that's words per minute, is it?
Yeah, I think that's
or is
how
it
they
a
rate.
Percentage?
And I don't think it's a percentage. I think it might be based off words per minute, but it's in line with what you would see when you go into the JAWS settings and change the speech rate.
Yes.
So they're in line there. So you can do larger increments if you'd like to. Okay, so let's go. I have a little cheat sheet here that I want to jump back to because I don't want to forget anything. Oh, here's another good one too. I have a question for you.
Yes.
What is the keyboard shortcut to find out the battery status of your laptop?
Well, I don't know the specific shortcut. I would probably go to the notification chevron and open that up and find it in there. Yeah.
I believe it's insert. Is it insert Alt B or insert Control B?
Well, let's find out.
Insert Alt B.
No bookmarks.
No, that's not it. Insert Control B.
Control B.
No, that's not it.
Oh.
Oh, maybe it's
Escape.
Shift. Jeez, it's been so long now since I've done it.
AC connected.
There it is.
Recharging.
Insert Shift B.
Easy.
Because that's real easy to do with 2 hands. Anyways, how about we do Hey Sharky? Hey Sharky. Okay, third time's a charm. Hey Sharky. That didn't work. Hey Sharky. Battery.
AC connected.
Ooh.
Recharging battery. Battery level. High. Battery 97%.
Yeah.
Vision forward.
That's cool.
And it gives you the internet access
very nice.
as well, too.
I will say the lack of response to some of the Hey Sharky commands, something you see pretty regularly with these speech recognition things. Yeah. Same with Hey Cortana. You know, sometimes it responds, sometimes it doesn't. Might be better with a headset, possibly.
Probably would be. I'd also be interested in switching it to just without Hey, and I'd be curious just saying Sharky if there'd be much difference there. So battery, that's another really cool
Sharky.
one too. Let me jump back to my other.
Faster.
Okay, we
Speak
did
slow.
that.
Voice rate
Yeah,
60
we
blank.
did that. Good.
Start selection.
Oh, here's an interesting one.
Finish blank.
So let's try this one.
Document.
There is a way
Blank.
in JAWS to, when you want to select text, and we know we can just use our Shift key in conjunction with any of our text navigation keys and do it that way. But there's also a way to do start and stop a selection so that you can start selection and then move to where you want it to be, finish selection, and then it'll just select all of what's in there.
So would you, once you said start selection, would you move with the arrow keys at that point?
Exactly. So for example, let's just type something here. Hello, this is test to see how selection works. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning here. So I'm on the,
Hello.
oh yeah, sorry, I forgot what I typed for a minute. So I'm on the H here of hello. So, hey Sharky, start selection.
Save document before marking place.
Oh, that's interesting.
Gotta save it first.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Control
All right, let's
S.
save it.
Save as enter.
Fine, that's fine. Let's try it again. I didn't know that. Never tried that before. Hey Sharky, start selection.
Marking place.
All right. So now I'm just going to use my end key and just move to the end of the line real quick.
And blank, period.
There we go. Now I'm at the end.
Blank.
Hey Sharky. Hey Sharky. Finish selection.
Selecting between marked place and current position.
Now, how do I know though for sure that it worked?
Very good question.
Hey Sharky. Read selection.
Hello. This is a test to see how selection works.
There you go.
Hey.
So a real quick way to kind of select a big group of text and then also double check that what you selected actually happened.
Do you think that's any easier than using the keyboard to do those things?
Yes, if you can't remember how to do it.
Sure.
You know, I mean, some of these, what it comes down to is if you use a feature a lot, you're obviously going to know the keyboard command.
Yeah.
Right, and you'll do it. Now the battery one, that one's to me is a given that it's just easier to do using Sharky because both going down to the notification system tray or doing the insert Shift B can just be a little more cumbersome. So I think it comes down to how often you use a feature, and are you more likely to remember start selection and finish selection versus whatever the keyboard.
I feel like selecting text is one of those fundamental things though, that you should be able to do, and you're probably doing regularly.
You are, but how many people actually use that method versus selecting the whole line or selecting word by word all the way through? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I think this method is almost a little more advanced method in selection. I never use it, to be honest. Only it's one of those where I just forget about it. You sort of get, as you mentioned earlier, you get into those kind of ruts. And this is, for me, this is one of them where it is a lot easier to do, but I just always forget it's there.
I find using voice assistants generally a little bit weird.
I do too, and there is there is still a little delay that annoys me, but it's better. The delay was worse back in the day.
Oh, sure.
And I do want to mention as well that this voice assistant does require internet connection because it is using Microsoft Cloud in order to process all these commands and stuff. So if you don't have access to the internet, your Sharky buddy isn't going to work for you.
To move. Read selection.
Okay, we did those.
Blank.
All
List
right.
links.
Let's take a look here now at, let's go to a web page.
Google Chrome. Enter.
And that'll feed us sort of into our next one too. So we'll go to visionforward.org.
Enter. Homepage Vision.
I hear this is a very good website, Cory.
One of the best around.
Windows up. Home.
All right. So, do you train individuals to use links list and headings list?
I do. I show them how to do it, but I don't necessarily know how useful they are to a lot of people. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, really, the biggest benefit to them is the first letter navigation.
Yes.
You know, but it's one of those where I when I was trained and got in the habit of using, I just never did them, so I always forget to do them. And then I know the keyboard commands, but I always forget insert F6 and insert F7. I always get them mixed up just because I don't use them often enough.
I mean, the other thing is if you're going to use first letter navigation, that implies that you know the name of the thing that you're looking for. So then why not just use virtual find?
You could, except I guess from a keyboard shortcut, it depends on or keyboard how many presses. You know,
virtual find is quick.
Well, you still got to type in what you're looking. So it becomes
We should do a whole show on that testing them out.
So Sharky will let us do a voice command. We can say, "Hey Sharky, hey Sharky, hey Sharky, list links."
Links list dialog. Links list.
There we go. So it brings it up as if we did the keyboard command. I'll tap my escape key. And we can do the same. Hey, Sharky. Hey, Sharky. List headings.
Heading list dialog.
And we can also get our
So
heading.
for you, that's quite useful, because if you forget the insert F6, insert F7, which one is which, then you can just use Sharky instead.
Exactly. I believe insert F7 is lists. Or links.
I think you might be right.
I think I'm right. Let's find. Now I got to find out.
Links list.
Yeah, look at that.
Nailed it.
All right, so that's one thing you can do on the internet with the with Sharky. Let's see what else. We did that.
Blank. List comments.
So that's honestly, I mean, you can list tables, you can list form fields, and things like that. But you can't navigate by heading. But you don't, I mean, honestly, you want to hit H. You don't want to say, hey, Sharky, next heading.
Yeah, that would.
You know, next heading. I don't think it works.
Please go to Word or Outlook to use this.
Okay, yeah, it didn't work. It does work in Word and Outlook. You can navigate by heading.
So if you open the links list or the headings list with Sharky, you can't. You have to use the keyboard at that point.
Yeah, you got to arrow down or hit the first letter that you want.
Hey, I wonder if you can do a virtual find with Sharky.
You cannot.
Really? I'm surprised.
No, at least not in what I read. You couldn't.
That's
I've not seen it.
surprising.
Yeah. So it's a bit limiting here on the internet. And, you know, again, it's really any of these lists from form fields, headings, links, those table lists, those all have shortcut keys, and any of those you can bring up if you want. Hey, Sharky, list tables.
No tables.
Nope, so there's no on here.
We should mention as well that you found a list of these shortcuts on Freedom Scientific's website.
Yeah, and I'll show you really quick. That's a great question. I should have mentioned it, but let me do it right now. And I'll actually, we'll show that real quick here. So if I go back into my JAWS menu here,
JAWS context.
and we go back to Utilities again.
Utilities. JAWS 10.
And down to Voice.
Voice Assist.
There we go. Expand.
JAWS.
And we went to Settings last time.
Settings.
We'll go one more.
Getting started. ...
That's going to take us right into the training material.
Handy.
And in there, you're going to navigate by heading, and you'll find a heading. It breaks it down by general, reading, Word, Internet, Outlook, and you can take a look at all of those different
That's really
ones.
handy.
Yep.
I think with a tool like this, like a lot of the kind of usage is just going to be figuring out where it's more efficient to use Sharky.
Yep.
And then, so you're not necessarily going to use every single Sharky command. It's just going to be a few that kind of help you with whatever you do on a daily basis.
We'll give one more quick example here in Word.
Homepage vision. Hello.docs Word.
Okay,
Edit.
so let's do this document here.
Hello.
And what I want to do here real quick.
Period. Works selection. Works O-R-K-S-K.
Okay,
X.
so now I just made a misspelling here.
You know, the weird thing, Word hasn't flagged it as a.
Oh, really?
as a
Oh, then it's
spelling.
not.
I don't understand why, though.
This is the test to see how selection works.
Is that? I guess that's a word.
I think that's a word.
Period.
And why? And there's a capital S.
R X S.
It doesn't look capital.
S X.
Oh, maybe they're just the way. Okay. Okay. Let's do.
Put a Z at the end.
There. That can't be a right word.
Alias. Blank. Hello.
Okay.
Blank.
So one other.
It's still not flagging it. We'll just try it though.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to work, but let's try it here. So one of the features we can do.
List spelling error.
There we go. Okay. We actually can do one of two things. First, we can say list spelling errors, and it'll put all the errors in a list for us. Or we can say next spelling error. So if I say, hey, Sharky, next spelling error.
The option to check spelling as you type is disabled.
Oh.
Well, that's weird. I didn't ask it to do that.
So that must be why it's not flagging the works as a spelling error.
Yeah, maybe. Anyways, what it will do if you have that feature turned on, which it is by default, it'll just take you to the next misspelled word, tap your applications key, down arrow through your spelling options, hit enter on the word you want, and now you've done your spelling.
That's pretty handy.
So some people don't like the new revamped spelling and grammar checker
a little confusing to navigate.
In Office. So this might be one way of doing it. You can also say next grammar mistake as well. So you can do just more than just spelling. You can do grammar.
I think that's a handy feature.
The other feature I like too is comments. I work with some college-age students where they'll get assignments back with comments.
Oh yeah.
And JAWS does a good job on it. But there is a command for next comment, previous comment, so you can just move right through the document. And there's keyboard commands as well too.
Yeah.
Which obviously all of these things have keyboard commands. All the voice assistant is doing is just tying the words, the phrase you're saying to the keyboard command.
I wonder if there is a future where all of this is just done by voice.
Or just thinking. Can I think battery?
Yeah.
And then it does it, So.
Hold on, producer Jonathan had a comment.
We have eye tracking already.
We have eye tracking already. Yes, that is true. Yeah.
We do.
Which, by the way, if people watch our Apple Vision Pro video,
which will be released
today
or tomorrow.
Yeah, but I think today, right, Jonathan? Hopefully today. Hopefully today at 6, but possibly tomorrow at 6. If you watch the Apple Vision Pro video, then you will find out about the eye tracking inside the Vision Pro.
And what the alternative is for people like me who cannot use my eyes to look at stuff.
Yeah.
So
it's 40 minutes long, by the way. So make sure you
we look at the new headset from an accessibility standpoint.
Yes.
So it's pretty cool.
Make sure you get your popcorn and coffee or alcoholic beverage if that is your preference.
All right, so that is Sharky. That's the voice assistant. There's a more, when you look at the voice commands, you're going to see it does a lot more. I just wanted to highlight some of the most used ones, or the ones I think would be most commonly used. But I want to move on.
Yes, for those with Zoom text, you do have Zoomy, similar things. So Cory mentioned it before, but you can say Zoomy or Hey Zoomy.
Increase magnification, decrease, those kind of things.
Which I think, again, there are keyboard shortcuts for those.
But those probably get used more often. But then again, so. All right, are you ready to move on?
Oh, just one more thing, sorry. I just thought, for those who are using screen magnification, they might not know the keyboard as well as somebody using a screen reader should.
True.
So maybe for those people, the voice commands are actually more relevant,
That might be true.
Yeah.
All right. I'm on board with you.
Homepage vision.
All right, next thing we're going to take a look at is our buddy, Flexible Web.
Oh, I thought you meant the Vision Buddy.
Oh, no. You don't know anything about Flexible Web.
Right? I think it's where you send your computer to yoga camp. Is that right?
That is correct.
Good, yeah, that's what I thought.
Anyone either in the Zoom chat or YouTube, throw it in there if you're familiar with Flexible Web. And if you use it, give me an example of how you use it, please.
Is it where you can get rid of certain elements?
Sort of, yes. Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
okay.
It does two main things. Let's show them. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
We're going to use Vision Forward's website here as an example. We use regions on our website. We've got three main regions that we kind of work with here. First region takes us to the banner at the top of our website, and I think our banner has the shopping cart, and let's take a look here. So I'm going to do an R to move by region.
List of 3 items.
So we have
Open search form, search button.
We can open up our search.
Link cart contents.
Our cart.
0. Link increase font size.
And change so that's what's in the banner there.
Home.
So let's say that I never want to deal with that. Don't ever need it. Don't ever want to work with that banner. It's just in the way. I want to hide it so that JAWS doesn't see it. So we're going to use Flexible Web to do that. So first we're going to use R key to move back to that region.
List of 3 items.
And now we're going to do the layer command, insert space, and then followed by X for X-ray. So I'll do an insert space, X.
Flexible Web dialog. What would you like to do? Create a new customization radio button checked. 1 of 5.
All right, so right now that's bringing me into the flexible dialog box, and there's an option here of create customization. That's really the only choice I have at this moment. And so I'm going to go over to OK.
Enable Flexible Web checkbox checked.
We want to make sure that that's checked, and it is by default.
Next button.
And we'll do our next.
Enter. How would you like to customize the page? Hide an element radio button checked. 1 of 2.
So now it's asking me how I want to change it here. So we have
hide an element.
It's saying hide, but it's almost saying, I can't tell, it's pronouncing it weird. Hide an element or
start reading at an element.
Start reading. Now we're going to do that one next. So let's just do hide first.
Hide an element.
Good. We'll tab over.
Back button. Next button.
All right.
Enter. Which of the following elements would you like to customize? List box. List. 1 of 4.
Now remember, when we moved to that banner, it was also a list,
of
right?
3 items.
Yeah, so there is a number of different elements it's seeing there. So now it's asking us by which element, or which element do we want to hide. Now I don't want to do the list.
Div with class equals header top.
I don't want that, which is a little bit more HTML stuff, but go down.
Banner region.
That's what I want. I want to get rid of that whole region as a whole. So I'm going to go over and choose next.
Next button. Enter. Select a customization list box. Hide banner region 1.
And I want to hide it. That's the first option, so I'll keep that.
Back button. Finish button.
And we'll
Enter.
finish. All right, it's now been created.
Okay.
If I go back up to the top of the page
Home page.
and I do R,
Main region.
it skipped right over. Actually, did it skip over two of my regions?
Main region.
Oh, there we go. It skipped over that banner region and it's no longer there.
Cory, I have questions.
Yes.
I have many questions. But before I ask my questions, Sean has a question.
Sure.
What were the keystrokes we used to get to the list of Sharky commands?
Very good. What you can do is go into your JAWS menu. So that's a little tougher because it depends if you run JAWS from your system tray or not. If you run JAWS from your system tray, then you're just going to either do an insert J or go to the desktop and hit enter on JAWS. That brings up the JAWS context menu. Go to utilities, then to voice assistant, and then down arrow to get started. If you don't run JAWS in your system tray and it's just in your taskbar, Alt Tab till you get to the JAWS window. Go ahead and do your Alt U to bring up the utilities menu, down arrow to voice assistant, expand it, down arrow to get started.
Sean, actually it was Sean Neese. Sorry, I just saw the full name. Let us know if that gave you what you needed.
Yeah.
And okay, Cory, so for my questions now.
Yes, please.
Okay, question number 1.
Yes.
Now that we've hidden that region,
Yes.
does JAWS remember if we close the browser and go back, will that region still be
No.
hidden? Okay.
Right now it's temporary.
Okay.
So one thing what I notice is if I Alt F4 out of the browser, it will prompt me to ask me if I want to save it. Or if I do my insert space X.
Flexible web dialog. What would you like to do? Create a new customization.
Now I can do.
Retry hide banner region 1 from the top with ID equals masthead.
Or.
Undo hide banner region 1 from the top with save temporary customizations as a rule radio button check.
I can now save it as a permanent rule. If I do that, now this is pretty cool. I want to show you this.
Enable flexible web. Next button. Enter.
Save it.
Rule name. Edit. Type in text.
And we'll just call it.
R.
It doesn't really matter. We're just going to name it.
Skip. List view. How would you like the list view? Hide banner region. How would you like this rule to apply? Combo box to the current site.
So this is to the current site.
So that would be
to the current.
Just ask you a quick question here, because this region, I believe, appears on every page. So that would apply it to every.
So when it says current site, it really means current domain. So yes, any page on the site.
Nice.
Or if I down arrow
to the current page.
Just to the current page I'm on. So we'll do site.
Back button. Finish
and
button.
we'll save it. Okay, now it's permanently there. So now if I leave Chrome and come back in, it'll be there. But let me just show you this for a second.
Okay.
It's kind of cool.
Windows M. Desk.
If we go to
Microsoft EDG.
Let's go to Edge.
Opening new window. Address and search.
And let's go to
Vision. Org. Enter.
Go to our website.
Loading page. Home page.
And I do R.
Main region.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
It's actually I was shocked when so it works. It's
across
not
browsers.
saved. Yeah, so it's not saved to the browser itself. It's saved to JAWS so that it goes across any browser that you're using, which is pretty clever.
That is
desktop.
Incredible.
Homepage vision.
Yeah, I didn't actually expect that.
No, now my only concern with this is it is pretty advanced, because not necessarily in terms of the key commands, but as you're arrowing through the lists, making choices, some of that stuff I could see.
It is.
Very
It does
confusing.
get a little bit, and I think that's where you with a trainer you can kind of get a little bit more familiar with which ones you should choose. Some other great examples would be sometimes when you go to a website where you read an article, you'll use your H key and you'll hear the heading of the article, which is great. But then when you down arrow, you hear share on Facebook, share on Tumblr.
Sure.
Hide all that.
Yeah.
So now next time you go there to any article, because usually they all carry the same kind of layout, when you do your H key and down arrow, all that will be hidden and you'll get right to your article then.
My only other concern is with place markers, which is another cool JAWS feature. I've had the experience more than once where the place markers disappear, and they're not temporary place markers.
Yeah.
They have been saved, but they disappear. Or, for example, if the web site changes as well, then that can also cause problems with those.
It can. So. You just got to make sure, like when you create place markers, one of the options is in there is anchor to text.
Yes.
And so you always want to use that. But yes, it's not a perfect science.
So I kind of wonder whether there might be similar issues with this potentially.
Yeah, I don't know. So in this case we hit an entire region, but you can hide just a single element, so just a single link, a single button, whatever you want to do. And then at any point now, I saved that, but if I do insert space X,
flexible web dial,
and I find
view or change where rules apply, radio button check. Create a new customization view or
okay. So let's
enable flexible finish
so
button
we'll go
space.
Here.
View or change with
and now let's find
site,
our
vision 0 global opened 1
let's find
current
that.
site
there it is.
visionforward.org closed open.
So let's open
2
that.
current page visionforward.org /
anyways, I don't want to go through all this, but you can go in and delete that customization at any point as well.
Got you.
So if you set one and then you're like, oh, never mind, now I need it back, you can do it. Now let me do the other side of flexible web. So let's give an example here where potentially when you come, I'm trying to think of I'll just use ours here. Let's use an example here when you come to our web page.
If you can't see some living with vision
and I'm going to just move by headings.
Shop for adaptive vision products visited heading level 3
All right.
link.
Now, let's pretend, for example, you go to a website and there's a heading that says like trending stories or today's news. That heading's always there, right? But let's say when you load that page with JAWS, you always just want to start right from that heading. Or right from that link or whatever it might be. So what you do is first move to it like I just did here.
Visited heading level 3 link shop for
so I'm on the shop for adaptive tools. If I do insert space X,
flexible web dialog. What would you like to do? Create
and we want to create a new one.
Enter. How would you like to customize the page? Hide an element.
This time I don't want to hide. Instead, I'll down arrow.
Start reading at
and we'll do start reading.
Back button, next button, enter. Which of the following elements would you like to customize? List box. Heading level 3 shop for adaptive vision.
And that's what we want.
Back button, next button, enter. Select a customization list box. Start at heading level 3-1 from the top with text.
And we'll leave this at its default here.
Back button, finish button,
and we'll finish.
enter. Visited head
now,
shop.
if I refresh this page.
F5. 3 regions.
That reminds me of the joke.
And 21 links, 4 smart launch highlights. Visited heading level 3 link shop for adaptive.
And you can see
link shop.
It immediately took us right to that heading.
Amazing.
So this is really powerful if you really think from not only a personal, if there's sites you go to all the time where you always want it to land on the same spot, but really think about it if you are a professional and you use certain websites all the time. We use a EMR system, electronic medical records, all the time. And if I could set it up so that, flexible web where I can say, no, every time you load this page, I want you to go to this exact link or this heading, how much it can really save your time, save time getting places quicker.
Yeah, this is a really awesome feature.
Yeah, this to me, I think flexible web, out of all the ones we're going to look at today, to me, this is the one that has the biggest impact. Does have a little bit more learning curve kind of behind it, and might be one of these where as a trainer, maybe you help an individual set them up. But once you sort of get the groove and start to utilize them, you really can get rid of so much of that cruff and junk in a website that you just don't need.
I think some of the only confusing part is really some of those HTML kind of options that you have. Because when you're listening to those, I just feel like if you don't understand the HTML, then that's going to be confusing.
The good news is you don't need most of them.
You don't
but you're right. Just learning to disregard those.
Exactly. So, wonderful. I can imagine implementation for some of this stuff. Like you could be a parent and your kid wants to access a website, but there's certain things on that website you don't want them to have access to. Yeah. So then you could obviously hide those elements so they don't have access to that. And also for users who maybe aren't so proficient with their screen reader, as a trainer, you could simplify websites that they want to use, to make it easier for them to navigate.
And then you could then start to unhide
as they
get more and more, and you introduce more and more. So you're still using the same page versus going to new pages that are more complex. You still use the same page, but now you're showing the relationship of, okay, now I'm unhiding this, and this is how you interact. So yeah,
I very much like that idea. Quick question. So if we hide the region, which we did at the start here, I assume that region won't appear no matter how we're navigating. So if we're navigating by region or using the arrow
Yeah, I don't believe so. Let's just try from the top real quick. If I down arrow.
Same page link, main region.
Yep.
Oh yeah, just jump straight to the main region.
Straight over. Yeah, you got
Excellent.
You got it.
That is really cool.
Yep.
Good job, Freedom Scientific.
Way to go! All right, so we've got really one last one here to take a look at, and that's Smart Glances.
All right.
Smart Glances, this was a more recent addition. You might notice it when you've loaded up a new page in in web pages that when it reads the kind of summary. So let's see, actually, does it read the summary here? Do we have Smart Glances?
F5.
Let's find out.
Homepage vision forward. Homepage vision forward. 3 regions, 14 headings, and 21 links. 4 Smart Glance highlights.
Ooh, smart. Smart.
More Smart Glances.
So basically what Smart Glances are is that JAWS looks at a web page and it looks at the font attributes of the page. It looks at different font emphases or styles or colors, and then it sees how often it's used, and the more unique, so the less often it's used, the higher ranking it gets. And the reason for this is what they're assuming is that the developer of a website has taken a piece of text and used maybe a background color or a bold font to draw your eye to that piece of content on the web page, yet it's not a heading for you to just use your H key to get to. And so what they've done then is that as it sees these and realizes, okay, this is only used a couple times, then it creates kind of what they consider a smart glance for you to quickly glance or move around that page to see something.
And when you and I talked about this, Cory, I suggested maybe this is at its best for websites that haven't been designed very well, because you would assume if the eye is being visually directed towards something on the page, it should really be a heading, because it's an important piece of information.
I agree. So I want to use it on ours here because I don't know what it's considering, and I want you to sort of tell me. So the key that we use is Y. The letter Y is what moves us through Smart Glances. So if I do Y.
Meet Jaylee and learn more about her journey with vision loss.
No, that was not a heading.
No. But is it bold or different color?
Yes, so it's definitely bold, and I'm not sure whether it's a different font, but yes, it's definitely bold.
Y again.
First name, star edit required.
So now it's moved to this form here, and so I don't know if the first name is maybe because of the star. I'm not sure why it considers this to be a Smart Glance.
I can't really tell.
Last name, star
so
edit
obviously
required.
There's the other one.
I think it is a star.
Email, star edit required.
So that's 3, so there's one more.
No tables.
Oops, if I hit the right key, that would be helpful.
First name, star edit, last name, email, star, wrapping to top.
That was all of them. That was only 4.
Oh yeah, that was 4. That's right, duh. Yeah. So that's what Smart Glances are, at least on our web page. Let me show you Freedom Scientific, the example they give. If we go to their website.
Enter, blank. Downloads.
Oh, I didn't go to their homepage.
Visited link graphic, enter.
Their homepage.
Freedom.
Here we go.
Freedom.
So there's, let's see what they have here. First of all, let's find out if they have any. So I'll just do a quick
F5.
refresh.
Freedom Scientific high quality video magnifiers, Braille displays, screen magnification software, and number 1 screen reader, JAWS. Freedom Scientific high quality video.
All right, I can't take it anymore. Oh, that's the longest title that any website has ever had.
They should know better.
Oh yeah, they should. Okay, there are glances. Let's just, we're going to cut the middleman out and just tell you that there are. So I'm going to hit Y and find out what we have.
Call today.
So there they have one called, that's called today, and if I down arrow.
Link 1-800-4.
I get their phone number.
Yeah, so their call today is visually is a different color.
But it's not a heading, no.
No, not a heading.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
No. Yeah.
So that's basically Smart Glances, where JAWS will just look at the web page, determine if text is emphasized in some way, and if it is, then it brings it in as a Smart Glance so that so that you can kind of skim through and just get an idea of potentially some important pieces of the website that again maybe aren't navigated by heading or somewhere else to get some other method.
I do wonder how useful that is.
Whenever I say a thing is not useful and it's never used,
Somebody
then
uses it all the time.
So I would love other people's opinions. How are you using smart glances? I don't see it as super intuitive. Not that it's not intuitive. I don't see it super useful.
Because you just
in my
don't
own
know
opinion.
what you're going to find. There's no consistency to it.
There isn't. The only upside to it is it is a quick way to a sighted person would bring up this Freedom Scientific webpage and your eyes would be drawn to that call me, right?
Yes.
Or call us because it's there. So now I can do the same thing and I can use a keyboard command to see what the developers wanted people's eyes drawn to. So it does give me more information. It gives me more ways to navigate, to maybe potentially find important information. And obviously Smart Glances is new, so there's been many other ways that we could have found this stuff as well. In the past, I would have come here, done a virtual find, typed call.
Enter. Call today.
And got right there too. So again, but it was one key press versus 5 key presses. So
yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, I think it's one of those things. I mean, it's easy enough to do. So if you're on a website, you can just press your Y key a few times, see what's there, see if there's anything interesting.
I think to me, one of the things that I think is underutilized, and probably a lot of trainers potentially don't do this, is I think when a new website is loaded up, I think taking that moment to use the Y key and the R key to move by regions can give you a really quick idea of how this page is laid out and what's potentially important and what's not.
Yeah.
The Y is obviously going to give you these smart glances. The R is going to move through the regions quickly, and you're going to find main navigation, main content, footer, and it just gives you an idea of what is sort of on this page. Or not so much what's on the page, but how it's laid out and grouped together.
You can start to build that visual map.
Yeah, and it's quick, and then from there use your H key or however else you choose to kind of navigate.
So these features are available in JAWS 2023.
Yeah, and
JAWS 2022.
Yeah, I don't remember. Well, let's do it right now. So
Control-L.
Flexible Web has been out forever.
You're stuck in a dialog box at the moment.
Escape. No button. Enter. Freedom. Control.
Let's do JAWS Smart Glances. When did that? Oops,
Enter.
when did that
Alert.
come out?
JAWS.
We'll see.
Linked search what's new in videos. What's new in JAWS 2023.
There we go, 2023.
Okay, so 2023 for Smart Glances. Voice Assistant was 2021. Flexible Web, I think, was even before that. It's been around for a bit. So, so most of these are going to be, as long as if you're up to date, then you're obviously good to go.
Yes.
But even if you've got an older one, you might be okay, depending on how old your version is.
And for those of you who are not up to date, don't forget that Freedom Scientific do have a subscription plan now, where you can pay $90 a
$90,
year?
I believe it is. Yeah,
Yeah, $90
Sometimes they
a
have
year.
Convention sales and stuff too.
Yes. Oh, I saw a old post on Blind Bargains from 2015.
Yeah.
Where they were selling JAWS licenses for $75 and Magic licenses for $50.
Yeah, I know.
Can you believe that?
I know that was, I think, right when they started doing the subscription type stuff.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
That must have been the deal of the century. Anybody
and
who
it was a convention.
Yeah, it was a convention. Anybody who was there, let us know what
was it
bargains
like?
you got. Apparently, they had offers on Braille displays as well, but I doubt they were $50.
I doubt they were $50.
That would be cool, though.
So so that was an overview of some of what I think are can be useful JAWS features, yet are probably overlooked in most cases.
Agreed.
So again, on YouTube, throw in the comments how you might use some of these, or if you do. Zoom, if you're connected live, throw it in the Q&A, throw it in the chat real quick if you've got any other questions, or I'd be curious if maybe how you use them as well.
Yes, me too. And I definitely learned a lot today, Cory. So
Did you?
Thank you. I did. Yeah.
That's good. That is really the purpose of these.
It's just to train me.
Well, when we sat down, we're like, why should we do this? And then you're like, I don't know anything. And I said, all right, let's do a live session. teaching you.
Disclaimer, that is not one.
No, that is not.
They could have done that. So yeah, that is the end of our session for today. And we are going to, like I say, we are going to have a conversation about our future format. And I expect that we will communicate.
Don't be afraid. We're not going to disappear.
We're not going anywhere.
We're going to make it better.
That's the plan.
Really what it is.
We want to give the people what they want.
They want 24/7 streaming.
Like a news channel.
Yes, exactly.
So we'll probably send out the survey again, as Cory said, and if you haven't responded to it, then any thoughts would be appreciated. It doesn't take too long to fill out, so we just want to get an idea of what people are looking for with these sessions. So hopefully today was helpful, and in 2 weeks' time, I'm afraid our schedule has gone a little bit off the tracks here, so I'm not 100% sure what we're going to be doing.
Yeah, I mean, we at some point this summer, we're coming back to my house again. We got a new basketball hoop. I'm going to show how it's accessible.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, we have kind of jumped around a little bit. So again, quick reminder, head over to our Tech Connect website, techconnect.vision-forward.org. Create a free account. You have access to all of these sessions archived, and you can see what's coming up. We'll be posting our next session. That should go up tomorrow, so you'll see what's coming up. And you can just kind of keep updated with everything we're doing. And all of our past stuff, both through 2023 and all of last year, 2022, they're all up there as well.
And we do have a YouTube Pro, for those who are not aware of it, it is a pretty cool piece of tech, and we speculate on whether it might be good from a low vision wearable perspective. So there's no clear sign yet from Apple as to whether they might have any features that would turn it into a low vision wearable. But it's fun to speculate nonetheless.
It is.
Yeah, so make sure you keep tuned to that channel for that video. Diane says, I miss the jokes. Very sorry, Diane. I missed the jokes as well, but...
well, and I think we still will do a joke. We're just not going to take 20 minutes to get into the content.
Precisely. Although I do also enjoy that. But the audience didn't seem to like it as much. So we are trying to, tailor these to make as many people happy as possible. But I mean, if you disagree, then fill out the survey and let us know that you really want a long intro with multiple jokes, and we'll see how we get on once we've tallied all the results of those surveys. But for the moment, goodbye. We'll look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks, and I hope you have a great couple of weeks. Bye for now.
See ya.